Hello, everyone. How are you guys feeling today? Good? Great. So, are you here pursuing your dreams? Or are you still struggling to follow your parents' direction? If you're still struggling, is it because your parents are really pressuring you? Or is it because your dreams are not big enough to convince them? Think about it, and now let's get started. As some of you may know, my family currently owns a hotel and some other businesses. But before that, they were Russian labor exporters. When speaking of labor export, the first thing that comes in mind is a very hard physical work. My parents had to work long hours, from 5 in the morning till 11 at night. And that made it hard for me and my siblings to bond with them in comparison with other children our age. So when the economic situation of my family has improved, my family invested a lot in our education, with a desire that their children will have a stable, bright future. My brother went to med school in the United States for 6 years, but then he decided that it wasn't for him, and he decided to follow another direction. My older sister went to Singapore to study. Eventually, she got engaged and decided to have a family. I mean, for some it can sound like a stable life, right? Now, it was my turn. Because my parents had invested a lot in my siblings' education, they were more cautious when it came to my turn because both of my siblings didn't finish their studies. I thought to myself, convincing my parents to let me study abroad is gonna be very challenging. After plucking up the courage, I finally went up to my parents and said, "Mom, Dad, I really want to study film production in New York." And guess what was their response? Absolutely not. You must study medicine, law, or business. The career you chose, the direction you chose, is very unstable and hard to have a future in. I was young and I didn't really feel confident about my passion, so I decided to listen to them and follow their direction. I chose hospitality industry and went to Switzerland to study. I had the best time in Switzerland. I really enjoyed the subject, the dedication of the lecturers, and the whole experience overall. But life doesn't go as planned. After graduation, I went back to Vietnam and started working in hospitality industry. I worked as a marketing executive at 3 different hotels at the same time. Now, you might wonder, why would I do this to myself? Well, do you know the quote? Hard times create strong men, and good times create weak men. That was a mindset my parents had when raising us. So my parents were very strict with allowances and only supported me when I was studying. They did that to teach me the importance of independence, determination to succeed, and the value of money. So after graduation, I had to somehow figure out how I'm going to cover my living expenses. I started feeling exhausted because I was juggling too many things at the same time. But the first problem I've encountered was job disillusionment. I don't know, it just felt so much fun when I was studying, but when I started working, I didn't find it fun anymore. I tried a lot to like it, but it was like we're not meant to be. I felt like I was wasting my time on something I didn't see future for myself. And then I realized there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I realized that one thing that brought me joy after this tiring day was creating TikTok videos with my fiancé Dad. We were doing it just for fun and we only had few followers. But that made me feel that I had an escape from my dull, stressful day. I didn't consider much of it until the pandemic situation has worsened. In August 2020, Vietnam announced a lockdown, which means all the hotels had to temporarily close down. I was creating TikTok for a while then, But during pandemic, it was my time to shine. I felt nice that I was able to take a break from working in the hotel, but I still thought that I'll go back to working in the hotel after the pandemic is over, until one day, a cosmetic brand contacted us to sponsor one of our videos. That day, our whole world has changed. I had so many thoughts. Can I earn money from it? Can I follow this career path? I felt like it was a direction I always wanted to follow, but had to forget temporarily because I wanted to also meet my parents' expectations. Back then, my parents did see some of my videos, but they were just confused. They didn't really understand what I was doing. When the pandemic situation has improved, my channel has already grown to 1 million followers. And me and my fiancé sat down, had a serious conversation about moving to Ho Chi Minh City. We thought that Ho Chi Minh City is a good place to develop a content creator career. So we decided to ask my parents for permission. And guess what was their response? They were so mad. I remember clearly the disapproval and disappointment on their faces. They were so disappointed because they have invested a lot in my education. I was studying in one of the most expensive countries, which is Switzerland. Just for me to give all that up for a TikTok career, I was stressed and I was furious. Why wouldn't they believe in me? Why wouldn't they support me? I once again lost confidence and started doubting myself. What if I fail if I move to Ho Chi Minh City? TikTok is a new platform. I don't know much about it, even though I already have 1 million followers, whom I can turn to for help if something happens. But then I realized, if I don't believe in myself, no one else would. I'd rather take a risk and potentially fail than regret not trying at all. As the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I asked my parents for a chance to move to Ho Chi Minh City, and if I fail, I'll just go back and work at their hotel. They agreed because they were quite confident that I'll just go back. I turned my anger into motivation, and the day we moved to Ho Chi Minh City, me and my fiancé, we only had $2,000, around 40 million Vietnam dong. Well, it seems a lot in the beginning, but after paying for an apartment, 2 months deposit, we were left with only a few millions. We were very lost and felt lonely because no one believed in us. It was only me, my fiancé dad, and our big dream. I was really confused. I asked him, how are we going to survive the coming days with this much money left? He just chuckled and said, we are going to try our best. Thanks to our determination, we worked hard every day, putting 200% effort. We would post TikTok videos 3 to 4 times a day and think about TikTok day and night. And that is how we were able to build a channel that has almost 5 million followers. And that is how I was able to prove myself to my parents. I slowly but surely got my parents' acceptance. At the beginning, they were just surprised that people started recognizing me when I was out with them. And then people started recognizing my parents when they weren't with me. Because my parents did appear in some of my videos. And I started having a stable income. I started having a press recognition. Started having a lot of compliments from my friends, relatives, and my parents' friends. And as a parent, do you think they're happy? Definitely. Do you think they are proud? Absolutely. I also feel less guilty because although I didn't directly manage the hotel, I was still able to attract a large number of customers to come and experience our hotel thanks to my social media influence. You know, the gap between our generation and our parents' generation is large, and it is understandable that it can lead to conflicts and lack of alignment in perspectives. But it's important not to rush to blame them because at the end of the day, parents just want the best for us. If your parents don't agree with your direction, that means they just don't trust you enough. Then what should you do? Try harder, just do it. As long as it's legal, you gotta build trust little by little, and eventually you'll make it. My parents are now very supportive, and I'm really proud that I can talk about my work during family meals. Looking back, it is really hard to believe that one day I would be standing on this stage sharing and inspiring my story with you guys. It's been an amazing ride, and I am grateful for all the support I've received. I am especially grateful to have my fiancé, Dad, to be by my side all this time. He is my biggest supporter, and he believed in our dream. And without him, I wouldn't be standing here today. On 31st of March 2020, we uploaded our first TikTok video. And with all the support and love from you, today we have almost 5 million followers. If you're still looking for your passion, keep looking. Keep trying different things to figure out what you actually like. And do not give up. You have to try, even though the results might be a failure. You have to try, even if no one believes in you. And you have to try before it becomes a regret that you never did. Keep going, don't let your dreams just be dreams, and remember, fear is the biggest roadblock to success. Thank you.